What's up, guys? It's me again, Christian Rodriguez, and today I'm going to talk about why men should bulk in their 20s, especially in the winter time, right? And you're probably going to ask, why should I listen to this random, handsome guy with a receding hairline on the internet? Well, it's because I've been, I've been in fitness. I've had fitness in my life for the past 12 years. I've done a variety of different forms of fitness. I've done weightlifting, and I've done variations of weightlifting, hit workouts, uh, calisthenics, combat sports, and I've been training consistently. So yeah, you should listen to me. So let's go next. So I'm going to give you 5 reasons why men should train. Right, men should bulk at least in their 20s. Right. So first of all, reason number one: your 20s are your prime muscle building decade. It's just your prime time to build muscle, right? So your testosterone is at its peak, right? So you're going to be able to build muscle faster. You're also going to be able to recover faster, right? And it's just the perfect time to do it. You're probably going to have a lot more time too. So you can invest time into bulking, right? Into learning things, right? And research shows testosterone levels in men peak in their 20s, right? And then after the age, once you reach 30 and after, they decline by 1% each year, right? So younger lifters gain more lean mass per calorie surplus than older men. So that's really good to know, right? And yeah, so I'm going to go to the next point. Winter is the best time, right, to be in a caloric surplus, which makes sense. You're home, right? If you're from anywhere like I'm in Chicago. Maybe you're from New York. Maybe you're from a cold weather state or cold weather country, right? Winter is a perfect time to bulk because when you bulk, you're naturally going to start gaining some more fat, right? You're going to be gaining more body weight and more muscle, but you're also going to be gaining more fat, right? So you're not going to exactly have a beach bod. So, and you're probably going to eat more than you usually do, right? And you're less active. I know in the summer, I live in a walkable city. So I would walk at least 10,000 steps a day, sometimes more, sometimes less, but I would always have a higher average of steps per day in the summertime, right? In the wintertime, my average steps drop. And since my average steps drop, I burn less calories a day, right? So bulking is in my favor, works in my favor that way because I'm not in a caloric surplus. I mean, I'm not in a caloric deficit. I'm putting myself in a caloric surplus. It's just far easier in the wintertime, right? And another thing, right? You're wearing layers, right? Like you'll be wearing stuff like this everywhere you go. You're gonna be wearing jackets. Like no one's gonna see your body, so you can hide it if anyone's insecure by it, I guess, right? And the social pressure to get lean is dropped because pretty much everyone's getting out of shape in the wintertime anyway, right? Everyone's getting fat, probably eating what's it called, Portillo's. That's just a Chicago thing, or eating a good slice of New York pizza. Oh, I could use that. But yeah, you can you can have high calories, right, in the colder months, right? You can just chill, lift weights, have high calories, maybe from time to time eat something that you like eating. I'm going to get to that later, right? And you could bulk in the summer too cuz last year when I started bulking, I did bulk in the summer. So I started bulking in like April, right? Going into the summer, and I was getting fat and I was just like, okay, so summertime, maybe I'll start losing weight, right? I started cutting and I was getting compliments at the gym. At the gym, everyone was telling me, "Man, you look like you got more jacked." And no one said anything while I was bulking. It was when I started cutting that people started saying stuff, right? Which gets to my next point, right? My next point is I talk about muscle first, then fat loss equals more dramatic results, right? And what do I mean by that? Like what I just said. I'm at the gym. I was bulking. No one ever noticed how that I had gained muscle, right? No one ever noticed it. But once I started cutting down, everyone's telling me how jacked I look, right? And that's because it makes sense because it almost has like a when you start cutting, it almost is an illusion that you look bigger, but in reality, you probably weigh the same as you did before, but you have more muscle now. So you look more filled up. You look more you look like you have more of a presence on you, right? And it just works best for you, right? It looks even better. Like when you cut without bulking, you just get very skinny. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that. Like I know there's a lot of fighters who look skinny, but they could destroy most people. But when you bulk and then you cut, you just look muscular. You look jacked. That's how that jacked look comes from, right? And yeah, lean mass increases basal metabolic rate, right? People who build muscle first look leaner at a higher body fat percentage, right? Fat loss without muscle is like standing wood, was like sanding wood with no sculpture underneath, right? So just bulk up for the winter time, perfect time to do it. All right, so my next point. Muscle creates more of a masculine frame, right? And that's what you want. You don't want to look like a scrawny little little weakling. You want to look like a strong masculine man, right? And that's not going to happen if you're skinny, right? So bulking helps that. If it fills you out more, it gives you more of a physical presence, right? Right. It's going to give you that shoulder to waist ratio, like the V taper look. And I know I work out my neck. Not everyone does it, but you combine that with like neck training, you look like someone that would be a problem, right? Like if a criminal saw you in the street, they probably won't go. They won't pick the guy who's jacked as fuck, who looks like he wrestled, right? They're not going to pick that guy. He's going to pick someone else. You want to be the guy that the criminal's like, I'm not going for him. Right? Your posture is obviously going to look better. When you walk into the room, people are going to notice, right? People might not say anything, but occasionally you might get someone else say something, but most people will notice, right? You might get compliments. You might be like, "Oh, dude, you're jacked." But people will notice that you're in shape, right? And psychologically, right? Muscular men, right? People perceive muscular men as more competent, more dominant, and they're less likely to be challenged by others, right? And I'm not just talking about the gym. I'm also talking about if you're at the office, you're at work, you're in public, you're at a freaking coffee shop, right? You're at a co-working space, doesn't matter. Being jacked just gives you benefits, right? And I don't have it written down here, but even with women, right? This is another bonus to it. I'm not going to say getting jacked automatically gets you women because that's not true at all, right? Because you need a bunch of other stuff too. You need money, you need game, you need to understand women, right? But it helps, obviously. It really does help. And especially if you're watching my channel, you're following my advice on controlling your emotions, on becoming a better leader, on surrounding yourself with the right people, chasing your mission, right? I always talk about chasing your mission. So you do that and you combine it with being jacked. Suddenly the woman is going to be like, this guy can protect me. I want this guy to be in my life. I want him because he can protect me, right? Awesome. So the next point, right? It's just the last point. So a proper bulk teaches discipline, not laziness, right? And I wanna shit on the dirty bulk nonsense because I know a lot of people dirty bulk, right? They'll order they'll order 30 Big Macs with they'll order 30 Big Macs with 10 large fries and they'll eat that every single day and they'll be like, I'm bulking so I could eat whatever I want. I don't agree with that method of bulking, right? A clean bulk is perfectly fine, right? Now I know mass gainer has sugar in it, has a bunch of shit in it, but it's kind of hard to bulk without using mass gainer because you have to eat a lot of food, and that's too time consuming and very hard to do because I've tried it. But don't do that dirty bulk nonsense. Just build discipline. What I recommend you do is to track your macros. That's the most effective way to do it. Just track your macros with it. That's how I did it. That's when I started tracking my macros, is when I started bulking. And I do it ever since. I did it when I started cutting. I do it with every meal. I track my macros, right? You train consistently. You focus on lifting heavier weight. You're going to notice yourself getting stronger, right? You're going to make sure you get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. That's another thing that's going to contribute to the discipline, right? For me, I'm good between 7 and 8 hours of sleep. Some people are more, some people are less. Me, 7 to 8 hours, right? And yeah, that's really it. Those are the 5 reasons why. And don't think that bulking is a reason. Don't make bulking an excuse to start eating like a child. I made a video on this. You don't need to eat like shit food, like I mentioned. You could do a clean bulk. So just start tracking your macros. It'll be a lot easier. Now, thank you guys so much for listening. Let me know what if you guys are bulking, if you guys are thinking about bulking, leave it in the comments. I'm going to keep creating more content. If you guys enjoy my content, subscribe to the channel, and I'm going to and stay tuned. I'm going to keep creating more stuff. Take care.